Lululemon. The founder is admitting don't want certain customers. That's what the founder said. Okay. So if you want to keep purchasing, it's not a day-to-day operation for him, but I'm just telling you what the founder of Lululemon uttered. Per Newsweek, Lululemon founder Chip Wilson has criticized the company for its continued push towards inclusivity, because that is dangerous. I added that. In 2023, numerous companies were targeted for consumer boycotts, notably Anheuser-Busch for advertising with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney, Target for its LGBTQ plus Pride products. Company drew months of attention and calls for boycotts that hurt its financial bottom line. This is what you're worried about. This is so dangerous. Lululemon made headlines last year for a different reason. 2 female employees at a Peachtree Corners, Georgia store were terminated. What the company described as breaching company policy after they confronted masked shoplifters. The company was deemed woke in the same vein as the aforementioned companies. Wilson, who left the company in 2015, okay, so he's no longer there, told Forbes in a new interview that he has a distaste for Lululemon's whole diversity and inclusion thing. That's what he said. That's a quote. And the appearance of the people in its ads who he claims look unhealthy, sickly, and not inspirational. They're trying to be like the Gap, everything to everybody, Wilson said. And I think the definition of a brand is that you're not everywhere or not everything to everybody. You got to be clear that you don't want certain customers coming in. I thought you were trying to make money. If more customers came in, could the prices go down? Asking for a friend, okay? Chip Wilson does not speak for Lululemon. His comments do not reflect our company views or beliefs. The Lululemon company spokesperson told Newsweek via email. Chip has not been involved with the company since his resignation from the board in 2015, and we are a very different company today. Right? They didn't mince words there. Distance, so they blocked, okay, like part of the O-line, and then they dissed him. Said, he's out of here. He's been gone for years, and we don't want any part of him. We're different now. Wilson has a $6.9 billion net worth, largely attributed to the formation of Lululemon in 2000, taking the company public in 2007. However, in 2013, he later resigned as chairman and then removed himself completely in 2015, following similar weight-related comments that offended enough of the brand's consumer base to stir change. So that explains it. Because billionaires always think they're so clever. We just must hear what you're thinking. Don't edit your thoughts. Wilson told Bloomberg in a 2013 interview, frankly, some women's bodies just don't actually work for the pants. I'm personally offended by that. Okay. It's really about the rubbing through the thighs. How much pressure is there over a period of time? How much they use it? Has you ever heard anybody scrutinize a man's body like this? He later issued an apology that was posted online through a petition, though a petition went viral requesting more sincerity in addition to change in Lululemon's clothing styles to cater to those with larger sizes. So posted statement tells me somebody posted it. I don't know if it was him. Newsweek notes Lululemon and its CEO, Calvin McDonald. Okay. Subscribe to a variation of the typical diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, that is supported or admonished by consumers. Company encourages inclusion, diversity, equity, and action idea, it's called, that focuses on systemic changes following conversations with underrepresented employees. I don't mind that statement there. I don't know why you even have to have conversations with underrepresented employees. I mean, you see what you're doing, you know who the former CEO is, but otherwise, they say they're committed to it. We'll see. The initiative includes more funding for DEI-related objectives and an expansion of training, learning, development. IDEA has been allocated $5 million in its annual budget with an additional $3 million towards the company's social impact program, Here to Be. 2020, Lululemon hired a global head of IDEA, whose team includes more than 20 members. That team grew to include 4 advisory committees, an executive steering committee, multiple task force, and more than 11 work streams dedicated to inclusion. However, the 3-plus-year-old initiative has had some negative ramifications, according to a story published by Business of Fashion in November. Publication interviewed 14 current and former Lululemon employees, including sales associates, global ambassadors, corporate managers in the US and Canada, who collectively described a corporate culture that is unwelcoming of Black people. After the closing of Lululemon's Hyde Park location in Chicago, 6 of the store's 16 former employees reportedly filed complaints, alleging racial discrimination with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission.
Yeah.
So maybe they do need more conversations. Maybe I should take that back. Here's the thing about DEI. It's so cool and clever, Fran, for everyone to say it. Okay, this is who we are, la, la, la. But if you're not authentic, if it's not really what you're doing and it's just what you're saying, or you're pretending to go through the motions, it becomes really clear quickly. And they say, the new CEO, the spokesperson now says, we're much different than we were in 2015 when the other guy left, the founder. He said stuff like that. That's not who we are anymore. Well, that's up for debate.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is actually kind of a deep story, but I just briefly want to agree with you that the whole uproar from the right about diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, including in brands like Lululemon. Remember that they're just doing that to cover their butts, right? What happened in 2020 was that we had a massive racial awakening. We understood for the however manyth time that Black Americans are discriminated against routinely, and especially by the cops, and can lose their lives. Hello, George Floyd. It mobilized everyone, and even corporate communities and corporate culture were like, hey, maybe Lululemon is really about white chicks, and we just celebrate white chicks, and this is for white chicks, and this is for white chicks with a lot of money too, right? And so maybe we need to change our ways, and that's what they did. And on top of that, they had this dude's legacy, which of course Lululemon was created by a man. It's one thing if it was like for white chicks by white chicks, but no, it's by an old boomer dude who spends his time judging women's butts and like what they look like and their body types and the chafing of thighs. Like, homie, come on. Let's everyone see you in a Speedo and see how that works out. Like, so it's just so gross to me that this guy is behind it. I've never been able to afford Lululemon. I've never bought Lululemon. And now I'm sort of happy that I haven't, but just remember that people do, like, even when they have these programs, it doesn't mean they're making good on them. And of course, Lululemon should actually treat its workers, its employees, with that sort of, aspirational dignity that they say when they hire a consultant firm that basically tells them, hey, don't be racist and have models of color in your advertisements and in your stores. That's all they do. And they're like, oh, I never thought about it. Okay. And they still can't get it right.
No, they can't. And thank you for saying that. And I agree with you, homie. Okay. It's just like, just stop it. You know what I mean? And you're exactly right. We know the bodies for years. I'm probably on the curvier side and certain things aren't going to fit me well. But it also pains me for this reason. We're adults. Okay. You're a mom. I'm a mom. There are little girls, little brown girls who are they just want to be included. And they're running around and they want to be part of this Lululemon craze much. Our pocketbooks can't take it anymore. Please stop. And I just don't want them to know that they may not be wanted, even though that could be the reality here. It seems it certainly has been at some point. And there are many challenges that remain. It just hurts me because at a certain point, they're just a kid and you just want to be part of this thing, even though I don't go along with the group kids. Be your own thing. Do your own thing. Your body's beautiful. You're going to be great.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not the best motivational speaker, but you get the drift. But here you have these internal workings and people sitting around and doing this marketing, Fran. And I think there are so many who are saying, well, this isn't for her. It's only for her, Miss Yoga or something.
To say that we don't want a certain type of customer is just like, it's so racist. Just say what you mean. We know what you mean. And it's like, it reminds me, remember when Tommy Hilfiger found out that like black kids were wearing his outfits and he was like, I don't want that. And he was like, oops.
I forgot about that.
Like no, but all the time, right? This happens all the time. Luxury brands, unless you're a famous rapper in which they're like, oh, okay, money. Then it's all good. But like, again, they just they want everyone to wear it except for certain people. And you're like, no, that's not how brands are built. Actually, you don't have to do that. You can be for certain people. REI feels like for outdoorsy people. Lululemon for active people. But you know, like beyond that, what are we doing?
Yeah. And they're cutting the clothes for certain bodies, I'm telling you.
100%, of course.
You know, and suddenly now that the Kardashians are out there for everyone to take in, there's more room in certain areas of certain items. But before that, it was like, oh, well. But you said it so well, and I appreciate you. It's just enough is enough.
Yeah.